Moving on from the good OCs onto the bad OCs, we're going to go back in the same order we presented in, so we get to take a look at the bad OC that our good special guest Silver Quill brought to the show.
Dankeschön. So, I propose and put forth Shadtrax by Bruticus Dude 65. So, and this is kind of mixed, so I don't mean to say it's out and out bad, but there are a couple things that are jumping out at me. So, first, lay backstory. Shadtrax was left on Twilight's castle doorstep when he was just a baby colt. So, I'm assuming he is Twilight's adopted son. Through the years Shadtrax was growing up, he was bullied for his fangs and scales on the back of his neck, but he never stood up to take revenge. By the age of 18, Shadtrax was interested in the night sky, so he would take Twilight's telescope and go to the highest point in Ponyville to search the sky. He got his cutie mark when an eclipse happened and he spotted a planet that looked as ancient as the two royal sisters, no mention of Cadence. And now he regularly visits Luna and shows her the night sky through his telescope. He only gets angry when some pony he cares for gets attacked. Parents are unknown aside from the shadow demon eyes and the changeling scales. Cutie mark is a full moon with a telescope behind it and the Japanese kanji symbol for darkness in the forefront. So, now on the positive side, I know a lot of people get upset if you say, oh, this is a main character's adopted child or their direct offspring. I'm actually fond of that for the idea that how would our heroines react to being parents, especially unexpectedly so? Problem is that Shadtrax's biography does not cover how Twilight's dealing with all this. It's all about him. So we're left to wonder. So I kind of like to know what's their dynamic.
I agree.
A lot of this goes back to the design, so hold off. But there are some warning signs of everyone's bullying him, but he never tries to fight back, and he only gets mad if someone is in danger. So it's very righteous anger. And the problem with that is that it implies he has no fallibles. It's always the noble anger. And as such, that can be a warning sign that this guy is a little too perfect for his own good. To make us invested in this character. I think it'd be okay if he carried around some anger for how he'd been treated.
Yeah.
And then there's the thing where I don't really understand this part where he spotted a planet that looked as ancient as the two sisters during an eclipse. I just don't.
That must be a really new planet then.
I don't understand. In the cosmic scheme, Celestia and Luna just hit the scene.
They're in the last, second.
And now he visits Luna to show her the night sky. But she's the princess of the night. I imagine she's rather familiar with it.
She's like, oh yeah, that one?
She's just humoring him.
The funny thing is you can change that very easily. If he's Twilight's adopted son, and again, not an issue for me, then naturally he would come to know Luna, and she could show him the night sky, teach him about it. And there you go. Not a big deal in my eyes, but a little tweak to make it less he's showing everyone else and he's learning from others.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to go with it.
I think the biggest issue about this character is that it's just the character. There's no real story here. Yeah.
You think if he was a hybrid, he'd be curious to know who his parents were, but at the same time, I like that this isn't his soul-defined trait. Oh, I must know my secret past. No, I also like stargazing. That's cool. That's actually a little more on the diverse side. But yeah, it is basically an outline with no set goal for him.
Yeah. Also, thinking about stargazing, for the cutie mark, I think it's all good and stuff, but I would get rid of the kanji. It's just I don't think anything is really gained by having it there, and it just seems like a bit much. Don't normally want to have words, especially even in different languages.
Kanji, from what we know of the universe, doesn't exist in the world of My Little Pony, so it doesn't really make sense that it's there.
I mean, we've had a bunch of ponies on the show that are from quote-unquote Nipponi or Japoni ponies and all those puns and whatnot, but Japone and such, but there's nothing in the actual show itself that is defined, hey, there is a somewhat something out there that is sort of related to whatever. I mean, we've had Saddle Arabia, but that's about it.
And well, even despite that, I just think having any form of like words that have a specific meaning, it's more like you're just trying to like tell somebody, hey, this is part of what the cutie mark means, and rather than having like a picture that can help describe what the cutie mark is, leaving it to more interpretation.
The other thing about the design is that it says that he's the offspring of a shadow demon and a changeling. So that raises an important question. Why does he look so much like a pony?
Unless shadow demons are equine styled, I guess? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Darkness Equinus.
Darkness
And from what
Equinus.
we know, changelings do not have a cutie mark.
Nor
And they do not really develop it. And from all we know is they also don't develop one. I think that's one of these backgrounds of our own show member Smooth. His cutie mark is a false cutie mark because he's a changeling.
Yeah.
I like the light violet of his coat, in some ways tying into the idea that he's Twilight's adopted son. It kind of reinforces that unintentionally. Well, how can I say this? He obviously wasn't intentionally born with a lavender coat to match Twilight, but there's a visual connection. Basically, this design has 3 unique characteristics, and I find with OCs you need one unique characteristic, because otherwise you are piling one on top of the other, competing for viewer attention. You have mismatched eyes. One is black, one is white.
On fire.
And on fire. That's point number 2. Is that literally on fire, or is it some sort of pattern emblazed on his coat? I don't know.
God, I hope it's a pattern.
Otherwise, hey, I'm on fire. You might not
it's just that
want me in
soul
your house.
fire.
I can see the future. I'm on fire.
Future.
And he wakes up screaming.
And, well, okay, actually, I guess that makes it 4 things. The cutie mark with the kanji, and the scales on the back. I'm assuming, well, I think the biography says they're changeling scales, which I don't think changelings have scales.
The only one that's even close to having scales is like the front of Chrysalis.
So,
But other than that, all of the
their
changelings are like just, yeah.
So nothing in this design really says changeling to me. Shadow Demon, I have no idea. I've never seen one. But I'm not getting a changeling vibe. The funny thing is, with this design, I actually see this as almost Kirin in nature.
Ooh, yeah.
It has Kirin, the Chinese, it's been called the Chinese unicorn, has scales of a fish. So you can have scales on the back. Sometimes it has 2 horns, sometimes it has 1. I think it does have fangs in some depictions.
I think
So,
we had a Kieran on the show before.
yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So the funny thing is, and perhaps even though it's Chinese versus Japanese kanji, the overall look really does say there's an anime influence, and perhaps rather than try to say this is a changeling shadow pony hybrid, shadow demon hybrid, Kirin. He comes from a far off land, and he is, in fact, descended from a Kirin.
I definitely like that a lot more. So I feel like it doesn't feel as forced.
And it would be actually, I feel, here's coming from a different perspective, if they did not announce what the other side, they didn't say Shadow Demon. And you could tie in a whole storyline with this planet that just appears suddenly, that he wanted to bring up. Maybe he's somewhere from that planet, I don't know. You could tie that planet into his backstory by having an empty slate from where he comes from.
Like Silver said, I'm honestly, like, I don't really have a problem with the adopted son thing even. I mean, it's not specifically stated, obviously, but I'm surprised how I'm okay with that. Like, even before we were trying to rationalize these things, I was just like, okay. I think it's interesting. It's nice to have the fact that tie into the fact that he likes astronomy or whatever specifically they're describing it as.
Just it's a good example of remembering your character is not isolated in a world. They interact with others, and they can learn from others. And that's what, like I say, with his backstory, he can learn about the night sky from Luna rather than showing it to her.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's actually really good. I actually really like that point you brought up. But we will then take that and move on to the next one. So I believe it was Medi, right?
No, Commander.
No, it's me.
Oh, it's Commander. All right.
Jeez, loser.
I'm sorry. I know it skipped one, but I was going the opposite way. I thought it skipped Commander. Okay.
Okay.
So tell us about this one, Commander.
Okay, so the bad OC I brought this week is Moonlight Wish. Their nicknames are Moon, Wish, and Rider. I don't know how they got the nickname Rider, but they're obviously a female unicorn. It says parents, but then they only list one, and the one that they list is Princess Luna. She likes writing, having fun, and having friends. And she dislikes being called princess and wearing her crown. And Moon was born in Alicorn, and when she was learning spells, she used a spell to get rid of her wings and make her immortal. And she never really liked the idea of being called princess, and she just didn't really want that. And she didn't really get too many big spells right, and gave up on them rather quickly. And like when stressed out, she would write poems. Which, can I just say that I think getting rid of your wings and turning yourself into immortal is a pretty big spell. I could be wrong, but
I mean, Twilight had one big spell that wasn't even finished, and it caused a whole heap of destruction.
yeah. But then one day she wrote a super long poem about just her life in general, about how her life was, and she didn't really notice it, but when she had finished the poem, that's when she got her cutie mark, and she didn't notice it until Luna had pointed it out. And then her personality is she's calm, playful, likes joking around, doesn't care about too many things. She's sort of like probably within her own world a lot of the times. Usually tries to finish what she starts, but she does give up a little bit easily, and is a procrastinator. Also, just a note, her mane and tail are not actually like ethereal. It's just wavy and has the dots. There are definitely some things with this OC that I just, when I looked at them, I was like, one of the first things that stood out to me aesthetically was the fact that the coat color, especially depending on the angle and the background, are really hard to tell apart, and it is very jarring to me. I think that the yellow it's like so light, and I can't tell what the saturation level is, but it's so light that my eyes are interpreting it as white in comparison to the other colors. So that's aesthetically one of the things I would change, but that's a bit of a gripe. My main problem is just with the Princess Luna thing, and how even though it does like play a big role, it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel very natural.
One, I think that's Fausticorn's cutie mark.
It is.
It is.
I
Yeah.
didn't even notice that.
One,
Yeah.
know that. Two, one thing I don't like about when you make an Alicorn OC and you make them hate one of the aspects of being an Alicorn is you negate the entire point of making an Alicorn OC in the first place. And she did get rid of her wings, and that's good, because usually you have those really bad Alicorn OCs who like, they have wings, but they choose never to use them. But still, it's like, what was really the point of having wings then, or being an Alicorn then?
Yeah.
You could have been born a unicorn and just disliked being royalty. Blue Blood is a unicorn, and he's royalty.
But he's also a douche.
Yeah, that's also true.
Ignoble royalty. This is sort of a trend I see not just in OCs, but in actual popular fiction. Oh, you have this character in this position where they are super special. They are rare and privileged, and everyone is in awe of them. But to make them look humble, you say, "Oh, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't think I'm worth it." But the rest of the world is going to treat them like they're liquid gold. It's like you're trying to have it both ways. It can feel like false modesty. I've made my character special, but I'll say they don't want to be special.
Yeah, it just like it feels like the actual point of like how this character, like things about this character, her being a writer and all these different things, is sort of like it can exist and be just as good, if not probably better, by not having all those things. And I'd say that the whole not wanting to be, I mean, and I get the not wanting to be a princess is not the exact same, but like the fact that she was like, I don't want to be an alicorn, and I just like, it just makes me so uncomfortable. It just seems to be like detracting from the character instead of adding.
Yeah. I'm also curious, what is that? Is that a horseshoe slipper on her right forefront leg?
I do not know. Oh god,
Another
half
half sock. The return of the half socks.
I'm not even 100% sure where to go with this character. I first off, like, they don't even mention who the second parent is. I mean, I guess they're just not important at all. And if they aren't, just sort of at least say that. Say that. I think it'd be weird if, like, Luna's having some like, just random affair with, like, some common pony. But maybe that's just, like, my predispositions saying that. But then just don't have her don't say that she doesn't know or doesn't get big spells right when she used a spell to turn herself into a unicorn from an alicorn. That's one of the biggest complaints I have.
Especially when the reverse, to become an alicorn from being a unicorn, requires you to invent magic.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure that one out. I mean, there's elements of a good character here with calm, playful, liking to joke around, maybe not always being successful. There's some fallibility in there, which can give way to conflict and more of an audience investment. But right now, I too am struggling with this because there's so much. I was born so privileged that this is almost more about her birth than it is her character.
Yeah. There's definitely potential to actually have a well-crafted character here, but I would definitely tweak the way that you're dealing with the whole royalty thing at the very least. Also, I should say that I do like the main color of the mane and tail. I think that color is nice. I would tweak that coat though. It's way too bright. Other than that, it is what it is.
Fantastic. Well then, let's move on to Medi's bad OC.
This is Cutie Cake. Element, she lives near the elements, apparently. Yeah,
what does that mean?
Like, I think what they mean is, like, which element of harmony would best describe her, but...
Yeah, that's why I don't understand what it means.
How is there a correlation between the two?
That she lives by all of them, as if it was a religious code.
I thought it just meant she lived in Ponyville next to them.
Oh, yeah,
within
that
proximity,
makes more sense, Medi. I was like, what does that mean? She lives by the elements.
I live by the
elements. What does she
They're
live
right
next to
over there.
Twilight or something?
Her special talent is writing, drawing, and passionate about everything she does. Love. Her job is drawing and writing books. She does live in Ponyville, though. She loves ponies, griffins, myths, theories, most living things. Loves fan fiction, music, and Cosmic Adam. Horror and violin. She dislikes warm, being alone, being
Wait.
I'm
I'm gonna let you finish. Please finish, Medi, because we have something to talk about.
Afraid of being alone and letting down ponies. Her cutie mark is a metaphor, which I personally don't like, is a heart bleeding and doing something she loves. Being in love or being around Cosmic Adam.
Okay, so just to let you know, Silver Quill, Cosmic Adam is my OC.
Oh. Well, this is becoming different.
And I'm quickly finding out that yes, this person is in fact talking about Commander.
Oh,
his OC.
Though I like the description. She loves Cosmic Adam because he's a badass and will tell any pony to shut the fuck up. It's true.
That is pretty much just Commander.
That's pretty much Commander in a nutshell. Anyways, I like most of her design. Like you can definitely tell that she's supposed to be a little bit out there. I hope, because then I just look rude if she's not supposed to be.
I'm actually completely down for that.
The frayed mane with the little heart-shaped taper is actually a really good expression of personality.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
They definitely have a lot of personality in this character. I am not a fan of the heterochromia.
Yeah, that's very, very drastic heterochromia, too.
Like, normally, like, I don't think we've had many ponies on here where the artists themselves also had heterochromia, and that's why they did it with their eyes. So I'm almost sure that your eyes aren't blue and red. So, besides that, like, I like the style this person has brought in here, especially the black outlines, because I'm personally a fan of black outlines instead of colored outlines. She seems to, though, dwell in the too many accessories area, with the scarf, the 4 wristbands, and the socks.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I feel like it's only, like, dwelling there because all the wristbands are different colors.
I don't know. I mean, I think that if having the scarf and the socks, I like those ones, but I'm not a huge fan of the bracelet wristband things. They don't do much for me.
And now to address the elephant in the room. You base a lot of this character around another fan character that a lot of people probably don't know. And possibly tag a picture of Commander's OC so people aren't just left wondering. And you even have a picture of you hugging him, so you can just tag that in your art. And on the Cutie Mark side, I like the idea of... I do like metaphors in a Cutie Mark, but I specifically like it when the Cutie Mark fits your special talent, because that's how they've been showing it in the show. It's talent first, metaphor afterwards. Like with the main 6, theirs are crafted by like these amazing ideas that we just combined through the past 4 seasons of the show. But they were also always job first. Besides this, like, I don't really find too many issues in here. Specifically the special talent and the Cutie Mark.
I must say, I like the color palette, like the gray and brown. I mean, it's nothing too like nothing super original, but like it works, and I think that the colors play well with each other, and I can't raise any complaints there. Wouldn't change those. I
will say the melting heart. At first, I mistook that for a tooth.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Too.
I could see that.
I didn't know what it was at first. Did they just smudge? It's paint smudge, obviously.
I mean, I gotta say, a heart that beats for someone else, almost like a heart within a heart, might convey that idea better.
Yeah. You know, you said paint smudge. That could almost represent a painter's Cutie Mark better, without being the just stereotypical paintbrush, guys.
Yeah. Check out my fucking epic pencil, bro.
I think we're kind of also glossing over the fact that a lot of her accessories are also in the same color as Commander Sparkle or Cosmic Atom. Like we briefly talked about the fact that they have heterochromia, but to be so dynamic of the different colors, because
saturated.
like with the blue and red, it's so different. I mean, I think we've seen like blue and yellow and like green and blue eyes and all these other things, but the red just stands out way too much. Like, this doesn't add to an overall color theme scheme, whatever. Like what Medi said, I probably wouldn't go with the heterochromia.
Yeah.
As we said, you'd probably want to give your character more basis in the world of My Little Pony and not basis in the world of Euroc sucks.
Yeah. Although we are much appreciative of it.
Thank you kindly, but we're kind of small potatoes in the big picture.
Yeah. So, thank you for that then, Medi. We're going to move on to the final Bad OC for this week. We're going to take a look at my Bad OC, Choral Sage by Hylian Plummerstar. Her mother was an earth pony from Lost Pegasus, and her father was a tree from the Everfree Forest. Choral Sage was almost entirely raised by her mother and gained her cutie mark relatively early due to where she lived at the time. Miss Sage currently resides in Ponyville in order to live closer to her father. Her cutie mark is a tree shaped like a microphone. Quotation or brackets. I think you can figure out what it symbolizes or symbolizes on your own.
Don't leave us in the dark like that. That's rude.
Yeah, don't ever do that. Go into it. Say that leads perfectly into where you should next have a little bit of backstory behind Choral Sage. Or Choral Sage. Which at first I realized I thought was some sort of like coral, like the stuff in the ocean, but now I'm seeing choral as in like song choral, like a chorus.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm actually getting that now. So I'm like, oh, okay.
I like the name then.
Then go into the description of like, oh, she likes to sing, oh, she likes to do this, blah, 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 blah. She sings from the trees, or she sings to her father, the oak tree, or blah, 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 or whatever. You know, that's a perfect segue into the actual description of the character. Also, if you're going to have a picture of your OC, you can make a tiny picture, but go out and find somebody or make it yourself in something a little bit bigger, because all I'm getting is that she has a textured green mane, mane and a brown coat, which could work. I mean, if she had, I can see this as sort of a pony that has a sort of very willowy, wispy mane that like has very long flowing, almost round little, instead of like having a mane that's very spike or have the little swoops that end in points, have it end in little round bits to almost give the appearance of leaves and whatnot, or something along those lines, to the point where it may look like a bunch of leaves flowing down, but not to the point of like with Nazagoran's OC, Cobalt Tangle, that actually has sticks in the mane. Although, I mean, it depends on how much of a backstory you put to it and how rooted she is with the Earth.
Not rooted.
Smooth hates us.
Or, I guess, actually, now thinking that, yeah, she is half tree, you may be trying to, I don't know. That actually, making a mane kind of like a willow tree actually may make more sense, since she is half pony, or half tree. I don't know. I gotta think about that. What do you guys think?
The physical dynamics of her conception are just boggling.
How even tree pony?
I have Japanese comics to show you.
Oh God.
And I'm guessing that texture means her mane and tail are leaves.
Or leaves
But
leaf-like.
I should leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
It's just starting. Her entire look is just to say my father was a tree and my mother a pony, which sounds like a bad French insult. Your mother was a tree and your... but that's all there is to her.
I guess you can say that she was stiff in bed.
That's right. Her bark was worse than her bite.
Barking up the wrong tree.
Then it also goes into like conception. Like, was it through normal means, or did like a seed just pop out of her mom? Like, it's like, what's that on my hoof? And then she like pulls out, it's a seed. I need to plant this. Okay. And then
I find it really interesting how it says Choral Sage was almost entirely raised by a brother. So the father played a role in the raising. Like,
I mean, I watered her every other day.
I mean, maybe it was more of a quiet listener to where she could voice her problems to, kind of thing, where she would like run to the forest and go to her father, I guess.
No, it's very strange. It's a strange concept to sort of tackle, so I'll give him that, but it just feels weird.
The weird thing about this is, what if she flipped it around? The mother was a dryad in Everfree, and father was a pony. Doesn't that make a little more sense? At least the biology gets a little less freaky.
It's still pretty freaky. There's no good way to get around this.
Well, she's the product of two worlds, basically. I mean, ponies, for the most part, stay well clear of Everfree, and Everfree doesn't seem to welcome their intrusion.
Not anymore.
So-
Doesn't care.
So, well, apparently one tree likes ponies, apparently.
Apparently.
But I'm just wondering, how would this conflict tie to her? She's not really welcome in either place.
Also, the mother is from Las Pegasus, which isn't anywhere near Everfree from what I think there was a map that showed, versus if you want to take it from some stand of like Nevada, Las Vegas, and actual trees. And I can tell you right now, there ain't no trees anywhere near Las Vegas. So the stretch is pretty far. Like, she would have to travel, go somewhere, eventually meet this tree somehow, and then want to move back to Everfree or Ponyville to be close to it. It's like, well, damn it.
Las Pegasus is quite a distance away from the Everfree Forest.
Exactly. So it's not like she was going from Las Pegasus to this forest and then happened to. And it's like,
maybe a plunder vine grabbed hold and
No.
the tree rescued her.
Getting into some freaky Japanese shit over here.
I know, it's unavoidable.
It is. It pretty much is.
I know a guy's allowed to wake up with morning wood, but really.
Good job. I specifically would do a little bit more expanding on what the cutie mark and the talent, because I mean she obviously is a singer, given that it's a tree shaped like a microphone, Choral Sage. I think that you could help add stuff to the character that would make the other things that are sort of a bit hard to explain less off-putting if you have more depth to the rest of the character.
I'm assuming that, the tree tried to be a gentleman about all this. Do you think he spruced himself up?
Oh.
And if you should chop down, he'll leave the mother a willow.
You're getting shown up pretty hard, Mummified.
Poor Mummified's looking pretty ashen right now.
And he quit. So moving on to the voting.
Oh my
Mummified brought. We're gonna do voting for the good OCs. Mummified brought for his good OC, Guided Heart. Commander brought Cotton Candy Crush. Medi brought Laguna, or Laguna Model.
Lagoon.
Laguna.
Lagoon.
Lagoon. Sorry. And Silver Quill brought Daffodil Sprout. Ugh.
For a combination of character design, knowing the character, and define convention, I'm going to vote for Cotton Candy Crush.
I think I'm going to have to give it to Daffodil Sprout, just because there's only a few things that I had to nitpick, but the rest of it was just, I thought, really good.
I personally preferred Cotton Candy Crush over all of them.
so I'm probably going to have to give my vote to Cotton Candy Crush.
Woo! 2 in a row. 2 in a row.
So that means that this week for Good OC, Commander wins Good OC. Congratulations, Commander. Now, moving on to bad OCs this week, going to tell you, I brought in Choral Sage by Hylian Plumber Star. Commander brought in Moonlight Wish by April the Fawn. Medi brought in Cupcake by Apagaga 1 Pegasister. And Silver brought in Shadtrax by Brudic Uduzu 65, whatever it is. So, just like before, going back in the same order we presented in, and not voting for your own. Silver, who do you vote for?
The theme I notice with all these OCs is that they lack a place in the world, that there's not enough fleshed out about their backstories. But for sheer absence of any personality and inspiring all the wrong images in my head, so wrong, I have to go with Choral Sage.
Oh god, there's so many decisions that I have to make, but I think that for just the fact that there's a lot of things that were just sort of mashed together in a way that I just couldn't really entirely get behind it, I'm gonna have to give it to Shadtrax, just because the other ones had something I could kind of go for a little bit more. I don't know.
Of all the characters here tonight, I think Shadtrax, like, we all lacked a place in the world. Shadtrax had his place in the world, but he didn't. It felt very underdeveloped is the word I think I'm looking for. So I'm gonna give it to Shadtrax.
And I'd probably have to give mine to Shadtrax. Yeah, it's a very interesting pony. So, that means that our very special guest this week wins Bad OC. Congratulations, Silver. Woo-hoo! Happy for you.
I have come at the expense of another brony. I feel so proud.
I feel so proud. As you should. As you should.
So, if you're watching and you think you want to have your OC reviewed or critiqued by us, you're more than welcome to send it in at a multitude of different social media and emails and whatnot that Medi will explain to you at this time.
You can send it to us at eurocsucks.deviantart.com, at eurocsucks@twitter.com, eurocsuckspodcast@gmail.com, and eurocsuckspodcast.tumblr.com.
Something I actually forgot to talk about last time and the time before, and I meant to announce it on the live stream episode that we did 2 weeks ago, and I meant to do it last week as well, but I'm doing it today, and I'm remembering to do it. I wanted to inform you that we now have a Patreon. It's a little bit of a way that people, if they want to, they can go out and support us and add a little bit of gratuity to the show. Not really gratuity, but something that, like, if you're looking to donate a little bit more to the show, you have that option instead of just watching the ads on YouTube. Now, that's not to say that you have to start paying for the show. It's going to be still completely free. You can still catch it here on this YouTube page, just like always. But if you want to support us a little bit, you can, and there's other things that you can pay for and whatnot and buy, so to speak. You can get other episodes and whatnot. And, like, I'm not going to get too much into details because we have a video that was just released this last week that I meant to release other previous weeks, but anyway, that you can look at and you can check out and see everything that we offer on that page. So go check it out. Link will be on the screen. Link will be in the description, It's different ways that, you can just go out and find it. But that kind of wraps up our episode. I want to say thank you to Silver Quill for coming on the show.
That's me.
It's been great. We had a blast. It's been just wonderful. Now, I need to know. I've got inquiring minds want to know where can we find the illustrious Silver Quill doing nowadays? Like, what are you up to? What do you got coming down the pipes?
Listeners want to know. Well, I'll tell you right now, you mugs. Well, right now, as we're talking, it's kind of funny we saw the Fostercore and Cutie Mark today, because I am going to be making use of that in my Equestria Girls review. Working on that this week, hoping to have it done in the very near future. Followed closely by Rainbow Rocks. Commander Firebrand and I will be discussing the Revenge of Everfree IDW comics. And, I don't know if Choral Sage will like us anymore after we talk about her homeland. Real world appearances, well, I'm in the real world every day. It's just kind of hard to spot me. In fact, last year at BabsCon, people were looking for me, and apparently I looked so normal that no one could remember what I looked like. But you can look for me again at BabsCon. I will be there this April. I'm planning on attending BronyCon as well.
Woo!
I'll be at the Denver Running of the Leaves, which I believe is in late September. And I've received an invite from Dr. Wolf to attend a Salt Lake City convention that I, unfortunately, at the top of my head, I'm spacing on the name. But I'm looking into making sure I can afford to travel out that way.
I want to thank you again, Silver, for joining us on the show. It's been a blast being able to hang out with you, and being able to finally have a special guest from the Brony analyst community on the show, and hopefully this means we can be a part of the cool clay. My name has been Mumfied Thunderbirds. I have been joined by
Commander Sparkle,
Medi Bobo,
And Silver Quill.
And remember, your OC sucks.